Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time to review The Starling Girl. This is about a 17-year-old girl who lives in a Christian fundamentalist community who finds that she has a crush on the youth pastor. I feel like when you have a movie that is about somebody in a Christian community, it's very easy for the audience to watch it and be like, yeah, look how stupid your life choices are, and
thank God I'm not in this community.
Yeah, but this movie felt more grounded and respectful of the people who live in these communities. Like, it didn't feel like it was vilifying people for living in them.
It was definitely critical of them, though.
Yeah, it was critical in the right ways.
What this film did really well was paint this character's inner moral landscape from what would realistically be her point of view. Someone who's been told that they're supposed to do these sorts of things to please God, but then her inner voice and her sexuality is saying something different. And I think it did respect the fundamentally Christian part of her, and it didn't feel like it was going to push her in a direction that she wouldn't actually go, because she is fundamentally Christian and believes in this stuff. She's not going to end up in some place that you want her to be in or denounce the church, but instead I think it gives you a much more rich view of what this experience is like. I think the strengths of this film overall are in its honest characterizations and in its really strong performances.
Eliza Scanlan is really amazing in this movie, and with this and Baby Teeth and Little Women, she has to be like one of the best actors in her age group. The film's director, Laurel Parmet, doesn't rely on straightforward dialogue to tell us how our characters are feeling, and she does a great job putting them in situations that let out the underlying emotional subtext. And Pullman as the youth pastor is also really great, so much so that when you came out and you were telling me how great you thought he was, I was like, you know, I didn't even think about the fact that, like, he was acting in the movie because he just felt so perfect for the role.
Yeah, and then come to find he was in Top Gun Maverick, and we've actually seen him before, but he's totally unrecognizable here. I really thought his performance was strong because he did feel lived in, and he's playing someone who the audience is going to have a lot of feelings about him, but it makes you realize that in someone's own story that they tell themselves, they are the hero and they are doing the right thing. And it feels like that was just a very honest performance. He is just so skilled at subtly communicating, especially when he can't find the words. There's just even little things I was noticing, like where his mouth would tense up, his jaw would clench, or he would swallow, and it was just perfect. You just knew what was going on the inside. And I would say Eliza Scanlan is doing the absolute, same work. Like, same compliments go to her as well. Like, these were two excellent leads. And I think this film truly wouldn't have worked if the performances weren't good. The story is sort of simple. At times it can seem a little bit thin, but it's really about the layers beneath, and how well we're connecting with those.
There are several characters in this movie who I think could have been easy villains for the audience, and the audience might come out thinking that certain people were more villainous than others, but the script offers each character nuance. The director really just does not want us to have an easy way to judge any of these characters or any of their actions, and that's what I liked about this film the best. I also thought that it was nicely shot. The cinematography really feels like it's at service of the performances.
I also thought Ren Schmidt as the mother was really strong, and it kind of made me think of what Cate Blanchett had said at the Critics' Choice, where she was like, oh, all these women in any role is inspiring to me, because truly there are many people doing great work in roles that are small and often go unnoticed, and this is easily one of those. That's probably not going to be on like the tip of people's tongues, but really paying attention to her performance, I appreciated how much life she gave to this character in the supporting role. Overall, I did feel like the story was a little bit simple for me. I wasn't like thoroughly entertained. I wasn't quite on the edge of my seat. I think there is a good amount to chew on in terms of how we are supposed to judge that relationship. I think the restraint in imposing what we're supposed to think about the characters, especially in the beginning, is where this film is really strong.
I think I was probably a little bit more into it than you were. There were a lot of really well-observed details in the story that I was kind of eating up. I give this movie an 8 out of 10.
I give this movie a strong 7 out of 10.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
You ever a Christian fundamentalist? Are you still a Christian fundamentalist?